Hey guys, I thought I would show you a whole workflow that I put together. I've referenced all of these things in different videos and discussions on the Slack group, but I thought I'd show you the process, and it's really helped me clear my head and be able to focus on what's on my plate, what's right in front of me, in light of all of my priorities and all the things that I have on my plate. Really being able to identify what's important this week, and making sure I have space to do everything I need to do this week, in the week, and then identifying what I'm going to do each day on a macro level, not all the details and little tasks, but just the big projects, making sure there's space for them. And then it all hones down to what do I need to do right this minute. And when I sit down to do something, often I'm just plagued with the 20 or 30 things that I know are just kind of looming. And I'm a GTD guy, I'm a Scrum guy. And if you've looked at my systems at all, you know I love details. But often GTD and Scrum can generate a ton of things that kind of still reside in my consciousness, which might be a fault of my systems, but I then, once I get all the details in place, I need to back out and kind of look at a horizon that just looks at kind of big chunks. I've been working on that for years, honestly, and this is the first system that I've been using it and kind of developing it, but using it more or less in this state for several months, and then I've added on, now that we have boards in Trello, boards in Workflowy. You'll see I have Trello as a component of it, but now that we have boards in Workflowy, that view has been helpful to kind of bring everything to completion, and it's really been very helpful. So you're seeing here my home Workflowy page. And these right here are projects, work-related projects. These are kind of personal and miscellaneous. This has to do with today in particular, and then reference. Okay, so Saturday I sat down and made my sprint plan. And for you GTD guys, it's your weekly review. It's updating all of your next actions and projects. I do that GTD review in the form of a Scrum ceremony, which is sprint planning, and my sprint lengths are 1 week. So I go through all of these nodes, and between all of these nodes, there's probably about 70,000 nodes with tasks associated and a lot of other stuff going on there. But I go through each one and decide which task I want to add into my week. Doesn't mean I'm going to get it done, but at least I want to keep it on my consciousness for the week. And so that helps me separate that kind of bolus of things that I want to focus on this week. But then it's still a couple of hundred tasks, and that's not good for my brain to have a couple of hundred tasks for the week. So I go in and I add hashtag sprint to all the tasks, and I'll just scroll down so you can kind of see how many things are on here. All things that I'm going to address in one way or the other this week. Doesn't mean I'm going to get them done, but I want to keep them on my mind and maybe schedule some things and that kind of stuff. And some things are contingent on other people. I'm waiting for things to come back to me, and if I pass an inspection on a job, that releases me to do some of that work, but I might not get the inspection done this week if they don't call me. And so, but I do put anything that I think I could get done. So that's what this represents, and it's just a big pile of tasks, all broken down by project. And so then what I do is I go into that sprint plan, and each evening I add hashtag in process for what I want to do the next day. So that's what this looks like. I haven't done it today. I'm actually, that's a part of what I'm going to show you is I wait to do that until I do this process, so then I can really focus my attention on just the things I want to get done this today. But eventually I'll go into sprint, and I will just click on whatever things I want to get done, add hashtags in process, and then that will be my my plan for the day. Okay, so but before I get to that point, there's a process that I need to go through, and it's a weekly process, and we just completed it, and then it's also a daily process. So we're going to jump over to Trello here. So these are all of the things that are what I call unprocessed inventory. They're things that are currently sitting on my plate that I need to do something about and can do something about in the short term, the next day or two. So it's kind of things that either I want to do or people are waiting on me for some of this stuff. So what I do is I just had this meeting with my wife because she helps me think. I think in a very particular way, but she can kind of help me sort a lot easier than I can sort things out in terms of priority. So we just went through and made this list. All of these things on this list, these 3 lists, were in unprocessed inventory, and then I updated it, kind of talked through it with her, where each of these projects stood and what was stressing me, what was holding me up, what the next actions were. So I kind of updated her on that, like I do each week. And then we started to sort into, okay, well, what do we want to get done this week? What can't we get done? And that goes over to this blocked list. And then what is in process today. This is a very macro view. This doesn't have to get completed to any degree of accuracy. It's just the talking through it and beginning to sort out what I can and can't do. I'm not really trying to get a task list for the day necessarily. You can see in process today here. And that's just kind of getting me up to a certain point. Doesn't have to be completed. I don't operate off of this. This is just to kind of orient my brain a little bit. So these in process and in process today, we've talked through it enough. And then I transitioned from discussing this, and I'm about to show you a workflowy board that basically houses everything that's in unprocessed inventory all the way over to complete. You see basically it's almost the same cards, not quite, but almost the same cards. And so it looks like this. I add all of these. It's not for Saturday. That's a holding board. So I put all those things in there, and then we talk through. Church is on Sunday, and I didn't do much other than some weekly planning yesterday, and then the rest of these are things I'd like to get done, kind of on a macro level. There's a lot of tasks inside of each of these. In terms of getting them done, there might be 10 or 15 things that I need to do to get particular things done, but it's just the goal of particular projects that I want to get done. Okay, so what we do is we just kind of go through and start to talk through, okay, do we already have a hard landscape for some of these? I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I know it'll be a little harder to read, but so you can kind of see the whole week. So I knew, for example, the Drost project, we start to sort things out. So I know some subs are planning on being there either Thursday or Friday. They said that it's going to be the end of this week. And while I'm there, I can do some insulation I need to get done. Okay, now I'm going to be in town that day, I know, and I don't know that I'm going to be in town any other day. So what are some other things I can do? The Hislop installing a couple of shelvings, and anything else. I can just kind of scroll through, and while I'm in town, what else do I want to get done? So garden purchasing. I want to purchase some plants for our garden. Okay, so that begins to sort out. I don't have to work on Drost Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I know that I can not think about that, and that's beginning to sort things out in my head of things I don't have to be thinking about right now. And so we just slowly start to think through what are priorities, what should I get done first this week to kind of move some things forward, and we sort it out. Now I've duplicated this to the completed view, so this is what it looks like once we talked all the way through it. This is, once I get to this point, this begins, what I have here, this really helps me to focus. All of these other things typically would just kind of be pestering me like hornets, things I need to get done. Should I be working on that? Am I doing the right thing? But by working all the way through, looking at what I want to get done this sprint, by going through my typical sprint planning, so I can kind of see all the tasks that are on my plate, and then I export those to the Trello board, kind of in just big chunks, and then bring it all the way through to this is what I want to focus on. Now, one of the beauties of this is I can see right here, I'll zoom in on Wednesday, you can see margin. So garden tilling, that's what I have left. Some of these things may get pushed into Wednesday, and that's fine because it's not packed. I'll scroll over to Friday. I've got nothing on Friday right now. So my week is going to end up looking very different than this, I'm quite sure. Maybe some things that I have planned for Monday are going to spill over on Tuesday and Wednesday, but I know I have that margin there. And then some may get pushed through to Thursday and Friday, but I've got margin for Friday. So now I can, one of the nice things is you can hide completed. So what's at the very top here, planning week, is actually what I'm talking about and making this video about, is we just planned out the week. Now the very next thing will be to touch base with some specific customers. I just need to ping them with a few questions or comments, and then kind of work my way down through this. And eventually I'm really looking forward to making some floating shelves. I don't usually do woodworking. I've done quite a bit of woodworking in the past, but somebody wanted me to build 3 floating shelves out of poplar and stain them and install them. So I'm actually really looking forward to that because I love working with my hands and working with wood. So anyway, now that I have this, I will keep this plan on my on my desktop where I have about eight windows here. I'll keep that up and available so I can go back to it and say, okay, what am I working on next, and kind of orient myself as I check things off. What's the next thing? So I'll just use that to touch base. I won't use it all the time, just when it's helpful, and look at it each day and then update it each day. So it's that whole process from start to finish, including making my Scrum plan, which usually takes about 20-30 minutes to make my Scrum plan of all the tasks that I showed you at the beginning over here, my sprint plan, and then talking with my wife, and then sorting things out into particular days. That all probably takes a total of an hour and a half, but it really sets the stage for my week to understand what my week needs to look like and whether I'm ahead or behind on my week. And it also will help me when I'm talking to customers and subcontractors. If a subcontractor says, hey, can I meet you on Wednesday? I can take a look and realize, okay, I can still do that. I've got margin, but I'll be in town Thursday, so why don't we schedule it for Thursday? So it's just a great way to orient my week. Super simple. This component of work, talking to my wife, and getting from the Trello board to this weekly view probably takes half an hour, unless we start making out or something, in which case it could take longer. But so anyway, hope that's helpful. It's just a really rich and clarifying process for me, and maybe it'll be helpful for you. So hope that helps. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'd be happy to answer any of those for you.